Hi guys, it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a new video for you for the Traveler's Notebook design team. Today I'm going to be giving you my first impressions and doing a demo of a couple of new products that I just got. I have the Holtz alcohol ink kit, and I also have the alcohol ink cardstock to go along with it. So both these products are available from the Traveler's Notebook online. The link is in the description box along with my design team code that gets you 10% off. So let's go ahead and have a look. I haven't looked at this at all yet. I haven't even pulled it out of the box. I haven't done any research because I wanted to sort of have a look and see how easy it was to do without, you know, doing a ton of research beforehand. So let's dive in here. So first off, we have a little mini distress ink in black soot. Then, oh, we have a blending tool with some replacement blending pads. That's cool. I actually don't have one of these yet, so shock horror, I know. Let's move right along. I have a little bag full of what I assume is inks. So let's have a look in here. We have some colors, and then we have a clear, which I assume will be some kind of alcohol blending solution. There you go. Then we have alcohol inks, 4 different colors. This is Stream, which is a really nice deep sort of forest, almost tealy green. Then we have Red Pepper, which is, you know, red, as you can see. Then a Sunshine Yellow and Gold. Ooh, that's exciting. I do like me gold anything. You guys know. If you can hear noises in the background, it'll be my dishwasher and possibly my children. Okay, so we also have some stamps in here. Oh, these are lovely. Oh, I'm very excited to have a go with these. I really like these trees. And so the adventure begins, own your dreams. And then you have some butterflies and moths here and a large script stamp there. Oh, exciting. And then, okay, let's have a look. Oh, stamping block. That's nice. Acrylic stamping block. Okay, so the kit also comes with 5 sheets of the alcohol ink cardstock, which I have a whole extra packet of that here, but you do get some in the kit, which is nice. And then you get a booklet. So this is all your instructions. There's quite a few pages in here, which is really handy. Okay, so there's 4 different techniques in here. You have the agates, monoprint, ombre, and plaid. So I think I'm going to go ahead and follow the instructions and show you guys what I come up with. So I will have to speed through and voice over just because everything's getting a little bit noisy in my household at the moment, so I'll see you at the end. The first technique I'm going to go ahead and do is the agates technique. So I'm taking my pad, my felt pad on my applicator tool there, and then I'm going to add several drops of the alcohol ink to the pad. So I'm going to use each color and just sort of make a little spot on the pad. In hindsight, I think this would have worked better if I'd done bigger spots of color, if that makes sense, because it ends up a little bit too busy. So I think next time I do this, I will use bigger spots. And then I'm going ahead and putting in a couple of drops of the gold mixative ink, and then you just stamp it all over the cardstock. So you do have to use the glossy side of the cardstock for this ink, otherwise it will just soak straight in. Now this is the blending solution I'm taking now, so once you've covered the card, I've covered it pretty well with ink there, I'm just going to add some blending solution to the same applicator and just stamp it sort of all over, and you'll be able to see here shortly that it blends together the colours quite nicely. So as you can see, it's very sort of speckled and spotty. I think it would have worked, like I said, a lot better with larger spots of colour. So now I'm going to try and stamp, and to be honest, this doesn't turn out very well. So I think it's a combination of it being very new stamps and a very busy background, and these inks aren't the easiest thing to stamp on. I'm taking the trees and so the adventure begins text, and I'm using the ink that came in the kit, and it doesn't stick overly well, and where it does stick, it blends a lot. It sort of bleeds out the edge. So you'll see when I stamp it down. Plus the background's probably a bit too busy really to be stamping over. yeah, it didn't turn out too great. So I have since had more of a play, and yeah, I can get it to work a bit nicer with other techniques. So now I'm going ahead and doing the monoprint technique, and this is really awesome. So you just do sort of swirls of ink on a bit of plastic packaging, all your different colours, a few drops of the mixative, the gold mixative, and then a swirl of the blending solution as well. So I'm just doing 2 colours. I'm doing the blue and the yellow, and you can see it blending together there to form a really pretty green. And then you just take your cardstock and swipe it through, glossy side down, just sort of swipe it across, and it will pick up all that ink and create a really cool marbled effect. Look at that. How pretty is that? And you've got to work somewhat quickly because this ink does dry quite quickly. So that blending solution is a solvent, so it's going to help keep it runny, I suppose. But yeah, by the time I had swirled all that through, that ink was nearly dry. So I'm adding a little bit more yellow, and should have added some more blending solution in hindsight, but it turns out really pretty. I'm really happy with it. So you can see I've got some sort of gappy spots there, so I'm just adding some more blending solution to the ink that I already have down, and there it sort of wets it again so I can finish it off. So this is so much fun. I've done this technique a couple of times since, actually. I'm really enjoying this specific technique and the different effects you can get with different colors, and every time you do this it will turn out slightly different. Such a super cool technique. So these inks are basically, you have to use them on a slick surface, so you can't use it on paper. You have to use glossy cardstock or like acetate. It works on acetate, glass, ceramics, all sorts of different glossy slick surfaces. Now this technique is the ombre technique, and I don't think I did this quite right, but this was my first time using it. I really wanted to just have a play and have a try. So I'm applying a line of ink to my tool, and I'm going ahead and just sort of applying it really quite heavily to the top half of my cardstock there, and it's quite streaky and horrible looking at the moment, but I will fix that. So don't worry too much about what it looks like before you add the blending solution. This is just the ink. So going quite heavy, quite dark, and now I'm adding some of that blending solution to the ink that I already have, and you can see it lightens it up a lot. It really dilutes it. So I'm going ahead and covering the bottom half of my cardstock with that lighter color, and then I'll add some more blending solution and sort of go over that join, I suppose. So just getting a new clean pad so that I don't add any more ink, and I'm just really going through and blending out that ink. So much fun playing with this technique. Go, just blending. Taking some more of the blue and the blending solution, and just sort of adding a bit more color to the top there, trying to get a bit more of an ombre effect. And I think at this point I started dabbing a little bit rather than sort of rubbing, and I start to get a little bit of a sort of marble watercolor effect. So I really like how that's looking, so I sort of start to do that a little bit more, and you'll see when I zoom in, it's sort of like a splotchy water effect almost. It's really cool. I was really happy with how that turned out. And so I put that aside. I'm happy with it. And I'm going to feature that in an upcoming video, making some cards, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Next technique, I'm going ahead and doing a plaid. Sorry about my camera. Of course it's out of focus. There we go. This technique, I don't know how much I love this. It's pretty cool, I suppose. I probably should have made my stripes a bit thicker or something, I don't know, but it doesn't really look like plaid. This is probably my least favorite technique, to be honest, but it's stamped a lot better on this one. So I'm just, as you can see, making a line of ink on my ink pad and then just swiping it in a straight line, making it sort of plaid pattern. And now I've just added a bit more blending solution to my applicator, and I'm just going over the top, trying to, I don't know, make it look a bit more plaid, I suppose. It looks okay. I think I probably need a bit more practice with this technique. I think, yeah, my gaps are just a bit too big between my lines, I think. So, but because this paper isn't covered in ink, it does stamp a lot better. So I find that the stamping works better when you don't have so much ink on the paper. It also works better if you let it dry for a day or so rather than going ahead. So here you can see I've got the distress ink that came with the kit, and this was just after I made the last plaid design. So I'm going straight in, and it hadn't been, I mean, it dries pretty quick, this ink, but it hadn't been dry for long, and you'll see when I show you the stamp, it bled awfully. It really, really bled badly, and it didn't stick in a few other places. So I'm trying again. It didn't help. Yeah, those places where it didn't stick again. So, like I said, probably a combination of them being new stamps. New stamps never stamp all that well, and I definitely should have let it dry longer. So the ones that I have done since that I've let dry for a bit longer, it did work much better. So here I'm trying my stays on ink. I thought maybe it was the ink. It wasn't the ink. It was just that I didn't let it dry for long enough, and it doesn't tell you that in the instructions, so I really had no way of knowing, but that's just from personal experience. Definitely leave it a bit longer for your stamping and it will work better. Yeah, it just doesn't stick. It's just not ready. And I try again. I make it a bit better, but yeah, it still didn't work all that well. And that's another thing. You can see I had trouble lifting my stamp up. It's almost as if the ink bonds with the stamping ink. So when you do stamp down, it's like your stamp sticks itself to the alcohol ink, and it's quite hard to peel back up. So so now I'm going ahead and stamping on this plaid one that I did, and it turns out a lot better. Like I said, probably because the whole background isn't covered in ink. Okay, so that is everything I made today. These are a lot of fun to play with. I really, really like some of these effects that I managed to get out of the inks. We're definitely going to have a bit more of a play with some of these techniques. Do a little bit of research and see what other fun ways I can come up with to have a bit of a play with these, and hopefully incorporate these into some of my future crafty videos. These are a lot of fun. I'm really messy now, so I love getting messy with mixed media. If you want to check this kit out yourself, don't forget to check the description box. The link will be down in there, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.